Hey guys, tonight we dive into the world of olive oil. Yes, that golden, smooth liquid we drizzle on salads and cook with today. But let's imagine, over 2,000 years ago, ancient Greeks weren't just using olive oil to dress up their food. They were slathering it on their bodies, pouring it into their lamps, and even using it as medicine. You probably won't survive this ancient Greek lifestyle without a good amount of olive oil to keep things slick. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know where you're tuning in from and what time it is in your corner of the world. I'd love to hear that. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. For the ancient Greeks, olive oil wasn't just something to slather on your food or use for a simple fry-up. It was an essential part of life. Think about it. In every corner of their world, from their kitchens to their medicine cabinets, olive oil was the glue holding it all together. To the Greeks, it wasn't just a commodity. It was the very essence of culture and daily living. But how did something as simple as olive oil become so vital to the ancient Greeks? Well, let's start by taking a look at the olive tree, which they considered a gift directly from the gods. They believed Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, gifted the olive tree to the people of Athens in a contest with Poseidon. While Poseidon offered the city the gift of a saltwater spring, Athena's olive tree provided nourishment, shade, and oil, a much more practical gift for daily living. Imagine winning a gift from a god, and that gift is something as simple, but essential, as olive oil. You'd think you'd won the lottery, right? The reverence for olive trees spread through Greece, and olives were so valuable that people saw them as symbols of peace and prosperity. In fact, the sacredness of the olive tree wasn't just a myth, it was ingrained in the very fabric of Greek society. Farmers treated the trees with care, and there was even a myth about an olive tree that grew in the temple of Athena in Athens. Historians still argue whether this tree truly existed or was just a lovely, poetic tale designed to reinforce the divine link between the goddess and the people. Either way, olive oil became synonymous with purity, wealth, and even divine favor. The use of olive oil didn't stop at just ceremonial practices or religious rituals. It was also a dietary staple, with its uses spread across all meals of the day. The Greeks didn't use butter or animal fats much in their cooking. Instead, olive oil was the cornerstone of the Greek diet. The simplest meal, think of a few olives, a slice of bread, maybe some cheese, was drenched in the stuff. Olive oil was their go-to for frying, roasting, and even for dipping bread. It was nutritious, flavorful, and readily available, which made it a perfect choice for anyone trying to make do with limited resources. But while this might sound basic to us, for the Greeks, olive oil was the magic ingredient, transforming a simple meal into something special. But the Greeks weren't just using olive oil for food. They also used it in their daily hygiene routines. Yes, you read that right. Olive oil was used as soap. You can imagine ancient Greek bathhouses filled with people lathering up with olive oil in the hopes of keeping their skin smooth and youthful. The ancient Greeks also had a particular fondness for the ritual of the oil bath, especially before athletic competitions. A good rub-down with olive oil wasn't just for vanity, it was a preparation for competition, and the athletes used the oil to protect their skin and enhance their endurance. It was their natural sunscreen, their conditioner, and their aftershave all rolled into one. Think about it. Every time an athlete prepared for the Olympic Games, they were essentially coating themselves in olive oil. Historians still argue whether this practice was about protection from the sun or whether it was more about aesthetics and cultural ritual. Either way, olive oil wasn't just a foodstuff, it was a symbol of strength, beauty, and divine favor. And speaking of beauty, the Greeks were ahead of their time in their use of olive oil for skin and hair care. They didn't have fancy moisturizers or shampoos, they had olive oil. The Greeks believed olive oil kept their skin smooth and youthful, and even the most renowned philosophers, like Hippocrates, recommended it for various ailments. Some even believed it had restorative powers, able to heal wounds and bruises. This might sound like ancient wisdom or even an old wives' tale to us today, but the benefits of olive oil are actually supported by modern science. It's rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties that are still used in skin care today. As we continue, you'll see that olive oil's role in Greek society went beyond what we typically imagine. From its use as an offering to the gods to its importance in trade and economy, olive oil was woven into the fabric of Greek life in ways that make it hard to imagine our modern lives without it. Now that you have a taste of how olive oil shaped daily life in ancient Greece, let's go a little deeper into its sacred significance. The olive tree was much more than just a source of food and oil. It was a symbol of divine favor, a gift from Athena herself, who, in her wisdom, gave it to the people of Athens. Athena wasn't just any goddess. She was the goddess of wisdom, courage, and strategy. So it makes sense that she'd bestow something as practical and enduring as the olive tree upon her followers. To the Greeks, olive oil was a symbol of peace. When they made sacrifices or offerings to the gods, olive oil was always included. Picture it. The smoke rising from the fire as a fresh offering of olive oil was poured into a flame, mingling with the scents of herbs, flowers, and incense. These rituals were not just for show. They were a way to ensure the favor of the gods. Just imagine the pressure on those Greeks. If you didn't show up to your local temple with a jug of olive oil in hand, did that mean the gods would turn their backs on you? Historians still debate whether the reverence for olive oil had a deeper spiritual connection, or if it was merely the practical choice, since olive oil was simply so accessible and abundant. But, regardless of the divine connection, olive oil was intertwined with daily life in a way we can't fully grasp today. It was part of religious festivals, the most important of which was the Panathenaic festival, held every 4 years in Athens. During this massive celebration, olive oil wasn't just an offering, it was the grand prize. The winners of athletic competitions were awarded amphorae filled with the finest olive oil. This wasn't just about winning an event, it was about securing social status. You didn't win an olive oil amphora just to cook with it. Oh no, you displayed it, flaunting your good fortune and your connection to Athena. It was a symbol of honor, glory, and the highest form of success. Think of it as an ancient version of winning a trophy you could eat. This reverence for olive oil in ancient Greece wasn't confined to just Athens. Across the Greek world, people believed that the olive tree was touched by divinity itself. The olive was considered sacred to many deities, especially to Athena, whose wisdom guided the use of olive oil for everything from cooking to health. Other gods were also associated with the tree. Poseidon, who you might think of as the god of the sea, was also believed to have been an ancient protector of olive groves. His connection with olive oil wasn't as strong as Athena's, but he certainly had a presence in the world of olive cultivation. Now, when you think about olive oil today, it's easy to forget just how much it was woven into the fabric of ancient Greek life. We think of it as an ingredient for cooking, a dressing for salads, or a base for beauty products, but back then, olive oil was wealth, it was power, and it was the very foundation of their economy. Olive oil was so highly valued that it became a form of currency. In fact, in certain parts of the ancient Greek world, olive oil was exchanged in the same way money would be today. If you had a few gallons of top-quality olive oil, you were rich. The wealthy had access to the best oils, which were produced in private groves, while the common people made do with lower-quality oils. Historians still argue about the role olive oil played in the economic life of the ancient Greeks. Some suggest that olive oil was more of a social equalizer, making it a staple that everyone could rely on. Others believe that it was purely the rich who held the best quality oils, using it to maintain their elevated status in society. Regardless, it's clear that olive oil wasn't just a kitchen staple. It was an integral part of Greek life, culture, and trade. In fact, olive oil was traded across the Mediterranean, from Greece to Egypt, and from Egypt to the farthest reaches of the Roman Empire. The Greeks were savvy traders, and olive oil was their most valuable export. In the bustling markets of ancient cities, traders would line up, eager to get their hands on the best olive oil they could find. These oils came in various qualities, from the finest extra virgin olive oil, which was prized for its purity and taste, to the more common oils that served as everyday staples for the masses. The trade of olive oil became so vital to the Greek economy that they developed a sophisticated system of storage and transportation. Huge amphorae were used to ship oil across the seas, and the Greeks even had their own special olive presses to extract the oil efficiently. It wasn't just about harvesting olives and pressing them. It was about controlling every step of the process, from growing the trees to bottling the oil. This control over production and trade allowed Greece to maintain a monopoly over this precious commodity for centuries. It wasn't just in the bustling markets of Athens and Sparta that olive oil played a role. It was also used in everyday life by people from all walks of life. The ancient Greeks used it as a form of natural medicine. From treating minor wounds and cuts to relieving muscle pain, olive oil was believed to have healing properties. In fact, the renowned physician Hippocrates, often called the father of modern medicine, frequently recommended olive oil for various ailments. Some even believed that olive oil could cure everything from hair loss to digestive issues. Though we might chuckle at some of these claims today, many modern studies have shown that olive oil actually does have various health benefits. It's rich in antioxidants and has anti-inflammatory properties that are essential for overall oral health. So, the next time you drizzle a little olive oil on your salad, remember that this humble liquid was once revered as the lifeblood of an entire civilization. From being a symbol of divine favor to playing a role in the economy, trade, and health practices, olive oil was a true jack of all trades in ancient Greece. And while it may no longer be the sole focal point of Greek life, its legacy endures. Every time you pour a bit onto your dinner plate, you're tasting the history of a civilization that made olive oil the heart of their culture. As we explore further into the world of olive oil, let's take a closer look at how it shaped the very fabric of Greek society. At the heart of the Greek world, olive oil wasn't just a luxury or a practical necessity, it was a symbol of status. The wealthy citizens had access to the finest, most fragrant oils, often from specially cultivated groves. These oils were not just used in cooking, but were also prized for their beauty-enhancing properties. Think about the best olive oils you can imagine today. Those golden green liquids you find at gourmet markets. Imagine that same rich, luxurious essence being poured into ornate bottles, given as gifts, or displayed in the homes of the elite. Olive oil's status as a luxury was also tied to its production process. Unlike other goods, the finest olive oil required skill, care, and precision to harvest and press. Olives were carefully picked at just the right time, and the oil had to be extracted with great attention to detail to ensure purity. In many ways, this meticulous process mirrored the cultural importance the Greeks placed on beauty, order, and harmony. The oil had to be perfect, just as everything in the ancient Greek world was meant to be in perfect balance. But while the rich reveled in the finest oils, the common folk weren't left out. For them, olive oil was just as essential, though more utilitarian. It was the base of their diet, an ingredient that provided much-needed sustenance, especially when food was scarce. It was the very foundation of a Greek household, from the simplest meal of bread dipped in olive oil to the more complex stews and soups. In fact, you could say that olive oil was the ultimate food staple, so integral to Greek life that it was woven into their very identity. Historians still debate how widespread olive oil consumption was among different social classes. Some argue that it was more accessible to the middle class and lower-income families, as olive trees were relatively easy to cultivate, even on small plots of land. Others believe that the higher quality oils were reserved for the elite, creating a division between the classes. The truth is likely somewhere in the middle, with some regions enjoying easy access to olive oil while others relied more heavily on trade to meet their needs. Regardless, olive oil was a vital part of daily life for all Greeks, rich and poor alike. And speaking of daily life, let's consider the role olive oil played in the health and well-being of the Greeks. Beyond its use in food, olive oil was the cornerstone of their healthcare system. If you had a cut or scrape, olive oil was the go-to remedy. Its healing properties were well known, and its use wasn't confined to minor injuries. Olive oil was also thought to be a cure-all for everything from digestive issues to skin ailments. The famous physician Hippocrates, often called the father of modern medicine, wrote extensively about the health benefits of olive oil. He recommended it for a variety of ailments, even advising it as a remedy for headaches and stomach issues. Can you imagine being in ancient Greece, where a little bottle of olive oil could serve as your personal medicine cabinet? Now, it might sound strange to think of olive oil as the panacea for everything from minor cuts to digestive distress, but there was a method to this madness. Olive oil is packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties, and the ancient Greeks weren't entirely wrong in their thinking. Modern science has shown that olive oil is, in fact, beneficial for many health conditions. It can help reduce inflammation, improve heart health, and even promote healthy skin. In many ways, the ancient Greeks were ahead of their time in their understanding of natural remedies. But it wasn't just for medicine that olive oil found its place in Greek life. It was also a critical component in their hygiene and beauty routines. The Greeks were particularly concerned with their appearance, and olive oil played a central role in their daily grooming habits. The wealthy would rub it into their skin to keep it soft and youthful, while athletes would slather it on their bodies before competitions to both protect their skin and give them an extra layer of sheen for the spectators. There's something rather poetic about the image of athletes in the ancient Olympic Games, their bodies glistening with olive oil as they competed for glory and honor. Even today, you can still see traces of that ancient reverence for beauty in modern beauty products that include olive oil as a key ingredient. Historians still argue whether this use of olive oil in beauty routines was more about practicality, protecting the skin from the harsh sun and wind, or whether it was a form of cultural expression, a way to embody the Greek ideals of symmetry and balance. Either way, olive oil was more than just a tool for personal hygiene. It was a sign of status, of care, and of respect for the body. Beyond personal care, olive oil's place in Greek society also extended to the realm of religion and ritual. The ancient Greeks had a number of deities associated with olive oil, most notably Athena, whose connection to the olive tree was legendary. Olive oil was often used in religious rituals, from the pouring of oil over statues of gods to the offering of oil during sacrifices. The gods, it was believed, delighted in the rich, fragrant oil, and offering it to them was a way to ensure their favor and protection. This spiritual connection to olive oil was evident in the many festivals dedicated to Athena and other gods. One of the most famous was the Panathenaic Festival, a massive celebration held in Athens every 4 years. During this festival, olive oil was not only used in offerings to the gods, but it was also given as a prize to victors in athletic competitions. The winners of the games didn't just get a trophy. They received a large jar of olive oil, which was considered a prized possession. This oil wasn't just a gift, it was a symbol of honor and divine favor. So, in many ways, olive oil was both a practical commodity and a symbol of something much larger. It was a reflection of Greek society's deep connection to the gods, their reverence for beauty, and their appreciation of the simple, yet profound, gifts the earth provided. Olive oil wasn't just something they used, it was something they worshipped, something they celebrated, and something that tied their entire culture together. Let's take a moment now to delve into the deeper, more utilitarian aspects of olive oil in ancient Greek society, where it was far more than a luxury good. In fact, olive oil was the unsung hero of the Greek economy, and its role went far beyond being a mere commodity. While it was certainly celebrated in religious rituals, beauty routines, and as a dietary staple, olive oil was also an essential part of the practical lives of the Greek people. As the foundation of both their daily meals and their physical well-being, olive oil was truly the glue that held their world together. In some ways, olive oil served as the universal currency of ancient Greece, a vital aspect of trade. Olive oil was regularly exported across the Mediterranean, to Egypt, Rome, and beyond. However, its importance wasn't just tied to its use in food or medicine. It was also a key to the wealth and prosperity of Greek society. Olive groves were often owned by wealthy individuals or families, and they acted as both a status symbol and a source of income. The oil produced from their trees didn't just feed the population. It became an essential export to other civilizations, ensuring that those who controlled olive production could wield considerable economic and political power. Historians still argue about the specifics of this olive oil trade. Some suggest that it was largely controlled by city-states like Athens, whose access to fertile land allowed them to produce large quantities of oil. Others believe that the trade was more decentralized, with smaller producers and local farmers contributing to a much larger economic system. Regardless of who controlled it, one thing is clear: olive oil was valuable, and the Greek world depended on it. The trade of olive oil was sophisticated, and it wasn't just the rich who benefited from it. In fact, the entire structure of Greek agriculture was built around olive cultivation. Olive trees were planted on terraced hillsides, carefully maintained to yield the best fruit for oil production. The process of harvesting olives was labor-intensive, and it often involved entire families working together to ensure that the harvest was successful. Workers would gather the olives by hand, using special tools to pluck them from the branches. The olives were then crushed using large stone presses, which squeezed out the precious oil. It was a long, difficult process, but one that was worth it, as olive oil was so highly valued that it could sometimes serve as a substitute for coinage. For the common Greek farmer, olive oil wasn't just a valuable trade good, it was also a key element of their everyday lives. After all, olive oil was the essential ingredient in their diet. It was used in nearly every meal, from the simplest bread and oil to elaborate dishes prepared for special occasions. And it wasn't just the food that made olive oil so integral to their lives. The Greeks were innovative in their use of olive oil for cooking, preserving, and even curing food. The oil helped preserve fruits and vegetables, enabling people to store food for the winter months when fresh produce was scarce. Olive oil's use as a food preservative and storage medium is still a practice that endures today. But imagine how much more critical this practice would have been back in ancient Greece, when food preservation was not as advanced as it is now. Farmers would rely on olive oil to keep their harvests from spoiling and to make sure they had enough to survive the lean months. It wasn't just about preserving food, though. Olive oil was also used in ancient Greek medicine as a treatment for a wide range of ailments, from digestive issues to skin conditions. Olive oil was a trusted remedy for many. Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, recommended olive oil for a variety of health concerns, from soothing headaches to treating sore muscles. The oil was also used to heal wounds, as its anti-inflammatory and soothing properties were believed to accelerate the healing process. But olive oil's medicinal qualities didn't stop there. It was also used in rituals and ceremonies intended to heal and purify. In fact, olive oil was used in sacred rites as a form of spiritual purification. By anointing their bodies with olive oil, the Greeks believed they could rid themselves of impurities and prepare for divine interaction. This spiritual aspect of olive oil usage was central to its role in Greek society, and it was an important aspect of their belief system. While we might find it odd to think of anointing oneself with oil as a form of spiritual cleansing, to the ancient Greeks, it made perfect sense. The oil, in their view, had the power to connect them to the divine and provide them with protection and healing. Interestingly, the use of olive oil in religious rituals wasn't confined to the temples. Everyday life was filled with small, personal acts of devotion that involved olive oil. For example, the act of rubbing oil on the body before a meal, or before a public appearance, was thought to bring divine favor. In this sense, olive oil was more than just a luxury, it was a link between the human world and the divine, a way for the Greeks to maintain their connection to the gods. As we continue to explore the role of olive oil in ancient Greece, we'll begin to see how deeply ingrained it was in their cultural, economic, and religious practices. Olive oil wasn't just an oil, it was a symbol of civilization itself. It played a central role in Greek identity, contributing to the daily rhythms of life, the maintenance of health, and the pursuit of honor and glory. But what truly sets the Greeks apart is their understanding of the olive tree's gift, not just as a practical tool, but as something sacred. It wasn't just about using the oil to cook or heal, it was about using it to honor the gods, to preserve their traditions, and to secure their place in history. So, next time you drizzle a bit of olive oil on your pasta or enjoy a Greek salad, remember that you're not just indulging in a delicious, healthful treat. You're tapping into an ancient tradition that has endured for thousands of years. As we move forward in our exploration of olive oil's central role in Greek society, let's take a deeper look at the practical side of olive oil production. Behind its revered status as a divine gift and a luxury item, olive oil was also the backbone of the Greek economy. From the bustling marketplaces of Athens to the small, rural villages where olive groves dotted the landscape, olive oil production and trade were vital to everyday life. It wasn't just about the oil itself, but the entire process that revolved around olive cultivation, harvesting, and the trade that spread it across the Mediterranean. The Greeks were no strangers to agricultural innovation, and their olive cultivation practices were a prime example of their ingenuity. Olive trees were grown in nearly every part of the Greek world, but it was the land around the Mediterranean, with its warm, dry climate, that proved most ideal for the cultivation of olives. The steep, rocky hillsides of Greece were terraced and carefully cultivated to maximize the number of olive trees that could be grown on a single plot of land. In fact, these terraced olive groves became an iconic feature of the Greek landscape, with rows of neatly planted trees stretching across the hills like a green tapestry. But it wasn't just about planting the trees and hoping for the best. The ancient Greeks had mastered the art of olive cultivation, using sophisticated techniques to ensure high-quality fruit. Farmers would prune the trees regularly, carefully selecting branches to keep the trees productive year after year. They would also watch closely for the right time to harvest the olives, ensuring that the fruit was picked when it was ripe and ready for pressing. Timing the harvest was crucial. Too early and the olives would not yield as much oil, too late and the quality of the oil would be diminished. The harvest itself was a labor-intensive process. Workers would climb the trees to pluck the olives by hand or use specialized tools to shake the olives free. Once harvested, the olives would be gathered and transported to the press. The pressing process was equally as crucial as the harvest. Early methods of olive oil extraction involved large stone mills that would crush the olives, separating the oil from the pulp. The oil would then be strained to remove impurities, resulting in a pure, golden liquid that was ready for use. The process of making olive oil wasn't just about the physical labor of pressing olives, it was also an art. Olive oil was graded based on its purity, color, and flavor. The finest oil, known as extra virgin olive oil, was reserved for religious rituals, the tables of the wealthy, and as gifts for the gods. This oil was the purest, extracted without the use of heat or chemicals, ensuring that its delicate flavors were preserved. Lower-grade oils, which were still prized, were often used for cooking, medicine, and more common applications. Despite the fact that the production of olive oil was labor-intensive, it was considered well worth the effort because of the significant returns it provided. After all, olive oil wasn't just a commodity, it was the economic lifeblood of the Greek world. Historians still debate the role of olive oil in the broader Greek economy. Some suggest that it was an essential export, bringing in vast amounts of wealth to city-states like Athens, while others believe that olive oil was more of a localized commodity. consumed primarily by the inhabitants of the Mediterranean basin, the truth is likely a combination of both. While olive oil was undoubtedly an important export, much of it also stayed within Greece itself, where it served as a staple in both the diet and daily life of the people. But olive oil's influence stretched far beyond Greek borders. The Greeks were excellent traders, and olive oil became one of their most prized exports. They traded it across the Mediterranean, to Egypt, the Roman Empire, and even further afield. Olive oil was so valuable that it was often used as currency, and it became a form of trade that helped connect Greece with other cultures and civilizations. The olive oil trade wasn't just about the exchange of goods, it also facilitated cultural exchange. When Greeks traded olive oil with their neighbors, they also shared their knowledge of cultivation techniques, their culinary traditions, and even their religious practices. This exchange helped spread the influence of Greek culture throughout the Mediterranean, leaving behind a legacy that is still visible today. The practice of using olive oil in cooking, medicine, and beauty rituals spread across ancient Rome and beyond, influencing civilizations that would follow. One of the most interesting aspects of the olive oil trade was the system of storage and transportation. The Greeks used large amphorae, ceramic containers with narrow necks and sturdy bodies, to store and transport olive oil. These amphorae were specifically designed to protect the oil from the elements, keeping it safe during long journeys across the seas. The amphorae were often sealed with wax to prevent spoilage, and they were sometimes stamped with the name of the producer or the city where the oil was made. This allowed the Greeks to maintain a level of quality control over their product, ensuring that their oil remained high quality even as it traveled great distances. But even as the Greeks expanded their olive oil trade, the commodity remained central to life back home. Olive oil was not just a luxury or an export, it was an essential part of every Greek household. It was used in everything from cooking and medicine to beauty treatments and religious rituals. The versatility of olive oil made it indispensable, and its importance cannot be overstated. In many ways, olive oil was the cornerstone of Greek society, a product that brought people together, sustained their bodies, and ensured their prosperity. Whether it was used for cooking, healing, or even connecting with the divine, olive oil was always present. It was the foundation of their economy, a symbol of their wealth, and a testament to their ingenuity. So the next time you drizzle a bit of olive oil on your food or use it in a skincare routine, take a moment to appreciate the ancient Greeks who made this simple substance the cornerstone of their world. Now that we've explored the technicalities and cultural significance of olive oil in ancient Greek society, let's take a moment to reflect on its role in the personal lives of the Greeks. Olive oil wasn't just something they used in the grand ceremonies or the bustling marketplaces, it was also a part of their intimate, everyday routines. Whether it was slathered on their skin to protect it from the harsh sun or massaged into their muscles after a long day of work, olive oil became a central tool in maintaining physical and mental well-being. In many ways, it was the ancient Greek equivalent of modern wellness practices, except with far fewer scented candles and yoga mats. Of course, one of the most fascinating aspects of ancient Greek life was their commitment to physical fitness and beauty. The Greeks were known for their admiration of the human form, and their athletes trained tirelessly to maintain peak performance. Olive oil played a major role in this. Before competing in the ancient Olympic Games, athletes would cover their bodies in olive oil, ensuring their skin was smooth, protected, and hydrated. But the oil wasn't just for aesthetic purposes. It had practical benefits as well. Olive oil was believed to protect the skin from the harsh elements and the rough treatment that came with intense athletic training. It also helped the athletes stay limber by easing muscle tension, making it a multi-purpose elixir for the body. Interestingly, the use of olive oil in ancient Greek athletic training wasn't limited to the Olympic Games. It was a practice that permeated every level of Greek society, from local sporting events to personal fitness routines. In fact, many Greeks would use olive oil not only for training, but also for socializing. Public bathhouses, which were central to Greek social life, often had anointed olive oil ready for patrons to use. Here, individuals would scrape off dirt and sweat with a strigil, leaving their skin refreshed, soft, and smooth. This ritual was as much about socializing and relaxation as it was about hygiene. The shared use of olive oil in these public spaces further solidified its role in Greek society as something essential for both body and mind. Now, let's take a quick detour to a slightly less glamorous, but equally important, use for olive oil: medicine. While we often associate olive oil with beauty routines and high-end meals, its use as a remedy for various ailments was widespread. Ancient Greek physicians, like Hippocrates, understood the benefits of olive oil beyond its dietary uses. In fact, olive oil was an important component of their medical practices. Wounds were treated with olive oil to promote healing and reduce inflammation. It was also used to relieve muscle aches and pains, something that would certainly have come in handy after a long day of hard labor or a strenuous workout in the gymnasium. In addition to its practical healing benefits, olive oil was often mixed with herbs and other natural substances to create various remedies for internal and external health problems. For example, olive oil mixed with vinegar was believed to ease digestive issues, while it was also thought to help with hair growth and dandruff. The Greeks had an early understanding of what we would now call natural medicine, using the resources at their disposal, namely, olive oil and local plants, to care for their bodies. Interestingly, some modern health experts still recommend olive oil for its anti-inflammatory properties and its ability to promote heart health, showing how this ancient remedy continues to be relevant today. But let's not forget the more spiritual side of olive oil use. Beyond the physical, the Greeks also used olive oil in their religious rituals, as we've seen. However, olive oil was deeply entwined in their personal relationships with the gods. Offering olive oil to the gods wasn't just about seeking blessings, it was about creating a connection with the divine. The Greeks believed that pouring olive oil on statues of the gods or using it in sacrifices was a way to ensure the gods' favor. This practice wasn't just about rituals at temples or during major religious festivals. It was also a part of everyday life. For example, in many Greek households, small offerings of olive oil were made regularly, ensuring that the gods watched over them and their homes. By anointing themselves with olive oil or using it in daily rituals, the Greeks reinforced their sense of connection to the divine. There's something almost poetic about the idea of using olive oil in this way, both as a physical substance that nourished the body and as a spiritual substance that nourished the soul. Whether they were preparing for battle, an athletic competition, or a religious ceremony, the Greeks saw olive oil as a way to achieve balance, both physically and spiritually. It wasn't just about the oil itself, it was about what it represented, a bridge between the mortal and the divine, the physical and the spiritual. As you sit with this picture of olive oil in ancient Greek life, it becomes clear that its importance was about far more than simply its practical uses. It was a cultural touchstone, a symbol of status, and a way to honor the gods and the body. So, as you dip your bread in olive oil next time, think back to the Greeks, who did the same for nourishment, health, beauty, and the gods. Their deep reverence for this humble liquid reveals just how intertwined the ancient Greeks' daily lives were with the natural world around them. They didn't just see olive oil as a product, they saw it as a gift, a tool, and a bridge to something greater. Now that we've explored the pervasive role of olive oil in Greek culture, let's zoom in on its continued importance in Greek daily rituals and its influence on social status. Beyond its practical and medicinal uses, olive oil was, without a doubt, a status symbol. The wealthier members of Greek society had access to the best olive oils, which were often produced in private, meticulously maintained groves. These oils were prized for their purity and smooth, rich flavor, and they were not only used for cooking, but also as luxurious offerings to the gods. Olive oil was so valuable that it was even used as a form of tribute and currency, cementing its role as a symbol of wealth and social prestige. In the bustling marketplaces of Athens, olive oil was often one of the most prized items on display. Merchants would sell different grades of olive oil, each with its own price point. The finest oils were poured into exquisite containers, and these oils were often kept in the homes of the elite. For the upper class, olive oil was a way to display wealth and sophistication, much like how modern luxury goods signal status today. Possessing the best olive oil was a visible marker of one's place in society. It wasn't just a functional product, it was a commodity that elevated the lifestyle of those who could afford it. This connection between olive oil and status can be seen most clearly in the public honors given to those who excelled in athletic competitions. As we touched on earlier, winners of the Panathenaic Games and other prestigious contests were often awarded large amphorae of the finest olive oil, a prized gift that was considered more valuable than gold. This reward wasn't just about the material value of the oil, it was about what it represented. To receive olive oil as a prize was to receive the favor of the gods, and it was a mark of supreme honor. It meant that you had not only excelled in physical prowess, but also in the eyes of society, with olive oil serving as a tangible reminder of your victory. In a sense, the olive oil presented in these ceremonies was more than just an award, it was a marker of success, a sign that the athlete had earned their place in the upper echelons of Greek society. In a way, the amphorae of olive oil were both a literal and symbolic reflection of the Greek ethos, to live harmoniously with nature, to cultivate excellence, and to honor the gods. The oil was the connection between these ideals, representing both the rewards of hard work and divine favor. But it wasn't only the athletes who used olive oil as a symbol of wealth. In fact, the rich often commissioned elaborate olive oil containers to decorate their homes, many of which have been discovered by archaeologists. These beautifully crafted jars, often made from expensive materials and adorned with intricate designs, were not just functional, they were also a form of art and a display of wealth. Some jars were designed with decorative elements like animal figures or mythological scenes, making them not only vessels for oil, but also obues d'art. Having such a vessel in your home was a way to show that you had taste, sophistication, and the means to afford such luxuries. For the average Greek citizen, the connection between olive oil and wealth was a little more subtle. While they may not have had the means to commission ornate amphorae, olive oil was still an essential part of their daily lives. For these individuals, olive oil wasn't just about luxury, it was about survival. A basic diet for a common Greek citizen could be centered around bread, olives, and a healthy drizzle of olive oil. It was a cost-effective way to ensure that meals were nutritious, and it provided the essential fats that kept people going throughout the day. In this sense, olive oil was democratized. It was present in the kitchens of both the rich and the poor, albeit for different reasons. What's especially interesting is that olive oil, despite its association with wealth, wasn't something that was purely reserved for the upper classes. Even the poorest people used it in their daily lives, but their consumption was typically more practical. They might have used olive oil to keep their skin hydrated or for medical purposes, but the higher quality oils were generally reserved for food and religious offerings. The common Greeks also made use of lower grade oils in their cooking, but it was still a staple. In this way, olive oil became something of an equalizer, bridging the gap between social classes in terms of its importance, if not its quality. Interestingly, historians still argue about the extent to which olive oil was consumed by the masses versus the elite. Some scholars suggest that olive oil was such a vital part of Greek life that it was equally important across all social strata, while others contend that the finest oils were mostly enjoyed by the aristocracy and the wealthy. Either way, it's clear that olive oil was crucial to everyone. For the poor, it provided essential calories and nutrients, while for the wealthy, it served as both a symbol of affluence and a means of displaying piety and sophistication. As we continue to explore the role of olive oil in Greek society, it's important to understand that this liquid was far more than just a dietary staple. It was a versatile, essential part of their daily lives, but also a powerful cultural symbol. Whether it was used in religious ceremonies, as an offering to the gods, or as a luxury good in the homes of the elite, olive oil represented so much more than a mere food item. It was intertwined with Greek identity, social status, and religious life, acting as a key marker of both individual and collective Greek values. And when we look at modern times, it's fascinating to think about how olive oil still retains that same level of cultural significance. From its role in Mediterranean cuisine to its continued use in beauty and health routines, olive oil remains a part of daily life in a way that connects us back to this ancient tradition. The Greeks knew the value of olive oil, not just as a commodity, but as a symbol of a life well lived, something that nourished the body, the spirit, and the community. So the next time you use olive oil, take a moment to reflect on its long, storied history and the deep cultural importance it held for one of the greatest civilizations in history. As we continue our journey through the life of olive oil in ancient Greece, let's pause to reflect on the way it served as a marker of cultural identity. Olive oil was, in many ways, a product that defined the very essence of Greek life. It was a tangible reminder of their connection to the natural world, their religious practices, and their ongoing pursuit of balance and excellence. But beyond its practical uses and religious significance, olive oil was also a symbol of Greek identity itself, one that was deeply woven into the values of their civilization. The Greeks were a people who prided themselves on self-sufficiency, and olive oil perfectly embodied this ideal. The olive tree, a hardy plant, could thrive in the rocky hillsides of Greece, and olive oil was the result of their careful tending of these groves. The Greeks knew how to make the most of their environment, and the olive tree was the perfect example of their ability to harness nature's bounty. In many ways, olive oil was more than just a foodstuff. It was a symbol of the Greeks' ingenuity, their resourcefulness, and their ability to thrive even in difficult conditions. But olive oil was more than just a product of nature. It was also deeply entwined with Greek philosophical thought. For the ancient Greeks, the act of cultivation and the resulting oil was an expression of harmony. They saw the process of growing, harvesting, and pressing olives as a reflection of the balance that they sought in every aspect of life. Just as olive oil had to be carefully extracted and refined, so too did the Greeks believe that individuals had to cultivate wisdom, virtue, and inner peace through self-discipline and balance. Olive oil was a reflection of this broader philosophy, a product that embodied their desire for harmony between nature, the body, and the mind. Interestingly, olive oil's symbolic role wasn't limited to just everyday Greeks. It was also tied to their most revered leaders and the figures who helped shape the course of Greek history. Take, for instance, the famous warrior and king, Alexander the Great. While we think of Alexander as a conqueror who spread Greek culture across the known world, his life was also deeply influenced by Greek traditions, including the reverence for olive oil. The Macedonian king, like many of his contemporaries, would have relied on olive oil not only for its culinary uses, but also as a symbol of his connection to the divine and to Greek traditions. This connection between olive oil and leadership can be seen in the rewards given to victorious athletes. Just as Alexander would have received lavish gifts of olive oil as part of his political and military success, so too did the victors of the ancient Greek games. These athletes were not only celebrated for their physical prowess, but also for their embodiment of the Greek ideals of strength, beauty, and honor. And what better way to reward them than with olive oil, a symbol of both divine favor and social status. The importance of olive oil also extended to the spiritual realm. The Greeks didn't just use olive oil in everyday life, they used it as a way to honor the gods. Rituals often involve the pouring of olive oil onto statues of deities or the burning of oil in offerings, with the smoke carrying the prayers and hopes of the people to the heavens. This practice was a direct reflection of their belief in the interconnectedness of the divine and the earthly. Olive oil wasn't just something that nourished their bodies, It was something that connected them to the divine, to the natural world, and to each other. This spiritual aspect of olive oil use is especially important when we consider the role that the gods played in the Greek understanding of health and wellness. Olive oil was considered a gift from the gods, especially Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. But it wasn't just Athena who was associated with olive oil. Other gods, such as Poseidon and Apollo, also had connections to olive oil, reflecting its widespread importance in Greek religious practices. The Greeks, ever the intellectuals, saw olive oil as more than just a product for physical use. They imbued it with symbolic meaning, tying it to their spiritual beliefs and their pursuit of wisdom. Olive oil became a medium through which they sought divine favor, whether it was in their homes or in the great temples where they offered their sacrifices. But the symbolism of olive oil wasn't just for the elite. Even the common people used olive oil as a way to connect with the divine. In homes across Greece, it was common to have a small vessel of olive oil that was used in daily rituals. These personal offerings weren't grand or public, they were intimate, quiet moments in which individuals sought peace, balance, and protection. By anointing themselves with olive oil, they were participating in a larger spiritual tradition that reached back to the gods themselves. And yet, despite the deep spiritual significance of olive oil, the ancient Greeks weren't immune to the human tendency to exploit it for personal gain. While olive oil's role in religion, health, and daily life was well documented, there were also instances where it became the subject of controversy. There are accounts of farmers using questionable methods to increase olive oil production, sometimes to the detriment of the quality of the oil. Historians still argue over how often this occurred, and to what extent it affected the overall olive oil trade in Greece. Some scholars suggest that this was a relatively rare occurrence, while others believe that it was more widespread, especially as demand for olive oil grew. Nevertheless, this question of quality control highlights the inherent value placed on olive oil. Even in the face of human greed or competition, olive oil was revered as a symbol of excellence, connection to the gods, and a source of nourishment. It wasn't just about making a profit, it was about maintaining the integrity of a product that had been cherished for centuries. This ongoing respect for the purity and sacred nature of olive oil speaks volumes about the importance of this commodity in Greek life. As we bring our journey through the history of olive oil in ancient Greece to a close, we begin to see just how deeply it was woven into the fabric of their civilization. It wasn't just an ingredient for cooking or a remedy for ailments. It was a symbol of wealth, honor, and divine favor. It connected the Greeks to their gods, to each other, and to the land that sustained them. Olive oil was not only the foundation of their economy, but also of their identity, their values, and their way of life. From the grandest temples to the smallest homes, olive oil played a role in nearly every aspect of their lives. And as we sit back in our modern world, drizzle a little olive oil on our food, or even use it in our beauty routines, we are reminded that this ancient symbol of nourishment and prosperity has survived through the centuries, linking us with a civilization that saw olive oil as so much more than a mere product. It was, and still is, a connection to the divine. As we continue to journey through the deep significance of olive oil in the ancient Greek world, let's pause for a moment to consider how this humble liquid found its way into nearly every corner of Greek life. It wasn't just about its uses in food, beauty, or medicine. It was the sheer versatility of olive oil that made it so integral to the daily existence of the Greeks. From the grand ceremonies dedicated to the gods to the simple, everyday acts of life, olive oil had a presence that cannot be overstated. In many ways, it was the most essential commodity in Greek society, something that transcended social class, wealth, and even time. The Greeks had a special reverence for balance, and olive oil symbolized this balance. While they might have spent years honing their philosophies, perfecting their athletic performances, or creating beautiful works of art, they never forgot the importance of something as simple as a good oil. Olive oil wasn't just a tool for achieving physical strength or maintaining beauty. It was a part of the holistic approach to life that the Greeks practiced. To them, using olive oil was an act of self-care, a moment of ritual that connected them to both the earth and the divine. But beyond its practical applications, olive oil played a profound role in Greek philosophy and art. Many philosophers considered the olive tree a symbol of life's harmony. It was neither too tall nor too short, neither too strong nor too weak. The olive tree stood as a representation of moderation, a concept that the Greeks held dear. Philosophers like Aristotle, who believed in the golden mean, finding balance in all things, would have likely seen the olive tree, and by extension its oil, as the epitome of balance. Its steady growth, its ability to thrive in tough conditions, and its steady provision of nourishment would have made it the perfect symbol of their philosophical ideals. And speaking of art, olive oil even found its way into Greek craftsmanship. The ancient Greeks were masters of both physical labor and artistry, and many of their finest creations, from pottery to sculpture, would be coated with olive oil to preserve their appearance and shine. Statues and vases, carefully crafted by artisans, were often treated with olive oil to protect them from the elements. This care and attention to detail reflected the high regard the Greeks had for beauty, both in their art and in their lives. Imagine standing in an ancient Greek temple, where statues of gods and goddesses are glistening under the light, their surfaces smoothed and protected by a layer of olive oil. These artistic pieces weren't just mere representations of the gods, they were vessels for the divine, and the oil served as both protector and enhancer of their sacred beauty. Even today, when we walk through museums and admire the remnants of these ancient artworks, we are seeing the legacy of olive oil's protective, symbolic, and nourishing roles in ancient Greek culture. Now, let's step back a little and think about how olive oil played a part in the overall Greek worldview. For the ancient Greeks, every product, every commodity, had a deeper meaning. Olive oil wasn't just a foodstuff or an ingredient. It was a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. It symbolized their connection to the land, to the gods, and to each other. The Greeks didn't just use olive oil in their daily rituals or to achieve physical strength. They also used it as a means of communicating with the divine, offering it as a sacrifice to the gods or anointing statues and sacred objects. This act of using olive oil in rituals wasn't just about honoring the gods. It was about acknowledging the deep connection between nature, humanity, and the divine. Olive oil's sacredness was so pervasive that it played a role in Greek burial rites as well. The dead were often anointed with olive oil as part of the preparation for their journey to the afterlife. The oil, in this context, served as a way of ensuring that the deceased would be properly cared for in the next world. It was a final act of love and respect, ensuring that the deceased would continue to thrive in the afterlife, just as they had during their lives. This deep spiritual significance reveals just how important olive oil was in the Greek belief system, not just as a symbol of health and beauty, but as a sacred substance that connected the living to the divine and the dead. But as much as we romanticize the role of olive oil in ancient Greek society, we must also remember that it wasn't without its complications. The cultivation and trade of olive oil were highly competitive, with different city-states vying for the best olive groves and the most profitable olive oil production methods. While the high-quality oils produced in places like Crete and Athens were highly prized, there were also lower-quality oils that didn't carry the same prestige. These less desirable oils were often reserved for the lower classes or for use in everyday cooking and cleaning. In a way, olive oil, like many other commodities, became a symbol of class division. The rich had access to the finest oils, while the poor had to make do with whatever they could afford. Nevertheless, olive oil's symbolism transcended these divisions. No matter who you were, olive oil had a place in your life. For the rich, it was a symbol of social status, an offering to the gods, and a source of physical beauty. For the poor, it was a vital part of the diet, a source of nourishment and health, and a commodity that could be traded or sold. It was something that everyone could rely on, even if the quality varied depending on one's station in life. As we wrap up our exploration of olive oil in ancient Greece, we see that this simple product was far more than just a cooking ingredient. It was a symbol of health, wealth, spirituality, and social connection. It was tied to every aspect of Greek life, from their daily routines to their grand religious ceremonies. Whether it was used to anoint a god, heal a wound, or prepare a simple meal, olive oil was the lifeblood of Greek society, sustaining their bodies, their culture, and their connection to the divine. Even now, thousands of years later, olive oil remains a symbol of both health and tradition. It's fascinating to think that something as simple as a bottle of olive oil can carry with it the weight of so much history. The next time you drizzle a bit of olive oil onto your salad or cook with it, take a moment to appreciate its legacy, the timeless connection between the earth, humanity, and the divine. As we reach the final stages of our journey through the ancient Greek world of olive oil, let's slow down a bit and reflect on the deep, enduring legacy this golden liquid has left behind. From the beginning of our exploration, we've seen olive oil used in ways that transcend mere utility. It's been a cultural artifact, a symbol of status, and an object of reverence. Yet, despite its importance in ancient Greece, the influence of olive oil didn't stop there. The legacy of the Greeks' love for this humble yet extraordinary product continues to resonate throughout history and still influences us today. To understand just how far-reaching the impact of olive oil has been, consider the lasting effect it had on the Roman Empire. The Romans, who admired Greek culture, quickly adopted the use of olive oil in nearly every aspect of their lives, from their kitchens to their medicine cabinets. Roman farms began producing their own olive oil, and the Roman aristocracy, just like their Greek counterparts, prized the finest oils. They, too, used it for cooking, healing, and even as an offering to the gods. The Romans went even further, improving on the Greek techniques for pressing and storing olive oil, thus ensuring its continued prominence in the Mediterranean world for centuries. Historians still debate how much of the Roman olive oil trade was directly influenced by Greek practices, but there's no denying that Greek innovations in olive oil production helped lay the foundation for the widespread cultivation of olive trees throughout the Mediterranean. By the time the Roman Empire was at its peak, olive oil had spread far beyond Greece, becoming an essential product in regions like Spain, Italy, and North Africa. Olive oil wasn't just a luxury, it was a vital resource, part of the daily life of nearly every Mediterranean culture. The Romans even used it as a form of currency in some instances, proving that the Greeks' reverence for olive oil had passed down through the centuries and had grown even more widespread. As we move further into the Middle Ages, the influence of ancient Greece and Rome continued to echo. While some aspects of Greek life faded into obscurity, the use of olive oil persisted, though, like everything else, it was adapted to the needs of each new culture. In the Byzantine Empire, for example, olive oil was still a key component of religious rituals. As Christianity spread throughout the Mediterranean, olive oil's role in anointing kings, priests, and the sick remained important. The symbolism of olive oil as a sacred substance, capable of connecting humanity to the divine, was maintained and even expanded. In fact, the religious symbolism of olive oil only grew in importance as Christianity took hold. From the anointing of kings and queens to its use in holy oil during religious ceremonies, olive oil became firmly entrenched in the rituals and practices of Christian Europe. This enduring use of olive oil in religious rites is perhaps one of the most enduring aspects of the Greek tradition that continues to this day. Think about it. Even today, olive oil is used to anoint people in many religious ceremonies, from baptisms to blessings. This direct link to ancient Greek practices is a testament to how deeply olive oil has been woven into the fabric of human culture and spirituality. But olive oil's influence didn't stop in the ancient world or the Middle Ages. Fast forward to the modern era, and olive oil is just as essential as it was in the kitchens of ancient Greece. In fact, its popularity has skyrocketed in recent years as health-conscious individuals have embraced its benefits. With its high levels of antioxidants, healthy fats, and anti-inflammatory properties, olive oil has been lauded by nutritionists and health experts as a superfood. The Mediterranean diet, which incorporates olive oil as a core component, is frequently hailed as one of the healthiest diets in the world. Studies have shown that the regular consumption of olive oil can help reduce the risk of heart disease, improve brain health, and even contribute to longevity. Yet, as we embrace the health benefits of olive oil today, we must remember that we are merely continuing the traditions set in motion thousands of years ago. The Greeks didn't just use olive oil for its physical benefits, they also recognized its spiritual value. They believed that olive oil could nourish the soul just as much as it nourished the body. For them, olive oil was a bridge between the human and the divine, a substance that could bring harmony, health, and even wisdom into their lives. It's remarkable to think about how something as simple as olive oil, which we use daily in our kitchens, has such a rich and storied history. From its role in the Olympic Games, where athletes rubbed it on their bodies before competition, to its use in religious ceremonies, its significance is far greater than we might have imagined. Olive oil connected the Greeks not only to their physical health and well-being, but also to their gods, their values, and their society. It was a symbol of wealth, wisdom, and harmony, and it played a vital role in every aspect of their lives, from the mundane to the sacred. Now, as we look back at this ancient tradition, we realize that the legacy of olive oil endures far beyond the borders of Greece. It has transcended time, cultures, and civilizations, leaving an indelible mark on the Mediterranean world and beyond. Whether it's the olive oil drizzled on your favorite pasta dish, the oil used in your skincare routine, or the oil included in your healthy Mediterranean diet, you are partaking in a centuries-old tradition that connects you to a culture that valued balance, health, and connection with the divine. The Greeks may have lived thousands of years ago, but their reverence for olive oil reminds us of the timeless bond between humanity and the earth. We can only hope that, as we continue to benefit from the olive tree's bounty, we, too, will continue to honor this ancient tradition, appreciating both its practical uses and its profound cultural significance. So next time you reach for that bottle of olive oil, take a moment to reflect on the long journey it's had, from the sacred groves of ancient Greece to the kitchens of today, and know that you are partaking in something truly timeless. As we journey deeper into the rich history of olive oil, it's essential to remember the lasting cultural shifts that this golden liquid influenced beyond the Mediterranean region. While its roots in ancient Greece remain undeniably significant, the reach of olive oil extended far beyond the borders of Greece, touching the lives of many ancient civilizations, including the Egyptians, the Romans, and eventually people from all parts of the world. It wasn't simply a regional commodity, it was a key player in shaping how societies interacted with both the natural world and the divine. Let's take a brief detour from the Greek world and consider the use of olive oil in ancient Egypt. Much like the Greeks, the Egyptians valued olive oil not only for its practical applications, but also for its symbolic significance. While the Egyptians were not as dependent on olive oil as the Greeks, they still used it extensively in their daily lives. Olive oil was used in the embalming process, where it was applied to the deceased's body to preserve and protect it for the afterlife. Similar to how the Greeks saw olive oil as a connection to the divine, the Egyptians also associated it with purity, preservation, and rebirth. Interestingly, the Egyptians' use of olive oil in the embalming process shows the range of its importance. This wasn't just an ordinary application of a basic commodity, it was a deliberate act meant to ensure that the dead were prepared for a safe passage to the afterlife. Olive oil's ability to preserve life, in both the literal and figurative sense, made it a highly sought-after substance. As olive oil traveled across the Mediterranean, its use in religious and cultural practices became widespread, ensuring that it would remain relevant for centuries to come. In the Roman Empire, which was greatly influenced by Greek traditions, olive oil continued to thrive, both as a practical necessity and as a status symbol. The Romans, much like the Greeks, used olive oil for food, medicine, and beauty. However, they also made olive oil a cornerstone of their economy. The Romans took olive oil production to new heights, developing large-scale plantations and even introducing innovations in the pressing process that allowed them to produce oil more efficiently and in larger quantities. With the expansion of the Roman Empire, olive oil began to flow across Europe and the Mediterranean, from Spain and Italy to North Africa and the Middle East. In fact, by the height of the Roman Empire, olive oil had become so ubiquitous that it was considered a form of currency in some areas, further cementing its role as a fundamental component of trade and commerce. Roman villas often had large olive orchards, and olive oil production became an integral part of their estates. The Romans even had specific laws regulating the quality of olive oil, ensuring that only the finest oils were used in religious ceremonies, while lesser oils were designated for everyday use. Olive oil was so highly regarded that Roman emperors themselves would use it during public rituals and sacrifices, offering it to the gods in the hopes of securing divine favor for their reign. Olive oil was more than just a product, it was a symbol of power, wealth, and a direct link to the divine, much like it had been for the Greeks. In the centuries following the fall of the Roman Empire, olive oil continued to play an important role in European and Mediterranean cultures. But it wasn't until the rise of the Renaissance that it truly regained a foothold in global trade. During this period, the renewed interest in ancient Greek and Roman cultures led to a revival of classical practices, including the use of olive oil in art, medicine, and religion. The Mediterranean diet also resurfaced during this time, and olive oil was once again considered the cornerstone of a healthy and balanced life. One of the key moments in the spread of olive oil in the Renaissance came with the Italian city-states, particularly Florence. Olive oil was embraced not only as a food source, but also as a luxury good, used in the homes of the aristocracy and the wealthy elite. The connection between olive oil and affluence was well established by this point, as it had been for centuries in ancient Greece and Rome. Olive oil production expanded rapidly during the Renaissance, and it became a significant trade product that helped sustain the economies of regions like Tuscany and Liguria. Interestingly, during this time, the social use of olive oil also took on new forms. It wasn't just a commodity for the rich anymore. It became an integral part of everyday life across all classes. The poor, who had long relied on olive oil as a staple in their diet, continued to use it in their cooking, while the wealthy incorporated it into beauty routines and health practices. Olive oil's ability to transcend social boundaries speaks to its timeless value and versatility. Whether as food, medicine, or a luxury item, it was universally appreciated. As we move into the modern era, the legacy of olive oil continues to thrive. In the 20th century, olive oil was embraced by the health-conscious world, particularly with the rise of the Mediterranean diet. This diet, which emphasizes whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and, of course, olive oil, became widely recognized for its health benefits. Olive oil was celebrated as a healthy fat, and it was increasingly lauded for its role in preventing heart disease and promoting longevity. The connection between olive oil and health was now firmly established, and this shift marked a new chapter in olive oil's long history. In the 21st century, olive oil has firmly secured its place as one of the most beloved and essential ingredients in kitchens worldwide. Its popularity has only grown with the increasing interest in sustainable and healthy eating. Olive oil is now used not only for cooking, but in a variety of wellness practices, including skin care, hair care, and even in natural beauty treatments. The oil's numerous health benefits, its high levels of monounsaturated fats, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory properties have made it a staple of modern healthy lifestyles. It's fascinating to think that this ancient product, born from the olive tree, has survived thousands of years, maintaining its value and relevance throughout history. The ancient Greeks, who revered it as a gift from the gods, could never have imagined how far-reaching their love for olive oil would become. Yet, here we are, using it every day in our cooking, beauty routines, and health practices, still benefiting from the same ancient wisdom that saw olive oil as a symbol of wealth, health, and spiritual connection. So, the next time you pour a little olive oil into your pan, drizzle it on your salad, or massage it into your skin, remember that you are partaking in a centuries-old tradition, one that has sustained, healed, and inspired generations for millennia. The Greeks may be long gone, but their love for olive oil and its profound significance lives on, bridging the ancient and modern worlds in a truly timeless way. While many of us might view olive oil simply as an ingredient in the kitchen, it's a product that continues to connect us to the past, especially to the timeless traditions of the Mediterranean. Its enduring value can be seen not only in our kitchens, but also in our health-conscious society, where olive oil has become a symbol of wellness and longevity. The centuries-old reverence for this liquid gold hasn't diminished over time. If anything, it's only grown stronger. This diet, based on the consumption of fresh vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and, of course, olive oil, is often hailed for its numerous health benefits. Studies have shown that the Mediterranean diet can lower the risk of heart disease, promote healthy aging, and improve cognitive function. It's no wonder that olive oil is considered the healthiest fat on the planet. It's rich in monounsaturated fats, which have been shown to reduce levels of bad cholesterol, and it's packed with antioxidants that help protect our bodies from oxidative stress. Interestingly, olive oil's health benefits were recognized long before modern science caught up. Ancient Greeks, as we've seen, used olive oil for its healing properties, applying it to wounds, using it as a moisturizer, and even ingesting it to boost their overall health. In a way, the Greeks were ahead of their time, recognizing the value of olive oil as both a dietary staple and a medicinal substance. What they may not have known in scientific terms, we understand today. Olive oil, a potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant-rich food that can help fight diseases like cancer, diabetes, and cardiovascular issues. However, the popularity of olive oil as a health food hasn't been limited to just the Mediterranean. With the rise of health trends in the West during the past few decades, olive oil has taken center stage as a go-to fat for those seeking to improve their diet. Olive oil's light, fruity flavor and versatility in the kitchen have made it an essential ingredient in cuisines around the world. From dressing salads to drizzling over roasted vegetables or using it as a cooking base, olive oil has become the go-to fat for many. Beyond its culinary and health uses, olive oil has found a special place in the beauty industry. Olive oil-based beauty products have become incredibly popular, with skincare brands touting the oil's hydrating, anti-aging, and nourishing properties. Whether in facial moisturizers, hair conditioners, or lip balms, olive oil's natural composition makes it an ideal ingredient for promoting healthy, youthful skin and hair. Olive oil is packed with vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that helps to protect the skin from environmental damage, as well as squalene, which helps to lock in moisture. In many ways, the beauty industry's embrace of olive oil, an extension of the ancient Greek practice of using olive oil in personal care routines. The Greeks knew that olive oil was not just something to eat, it was something that could enhance beauty, preserve health, and maintain a connection to the divine. Today, olive oil-based products are a global multi-billion-dollar industry, a testament to the enduring belief in the oil's regenerative qualities. But perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of olive oil's journey from ancient Greece to the present day is its relationship with sustainability. Olive oil, increasingly recognized as a sustainable product, especially in a world where environmental concerns are top of mind. Olive trees are well suited to dry, rocky soils and require very little water compared to other crops, making olive oil production more environmentally friendly than many other agricultural processes. Additionally, olive trees are long-lived, often producing fruit for centuries. This makes olive oil production one of the more sustainable practices in modern agriculture, contributing to the preservation of landscapes and ecosystems in Mediterranean regions. The sustainable nature of olive oil production can also be seen in its role in supporting local economies. In many Mediterranean countries, olive farming, the centuries-old tradition that provides employment and sustenance to local communities. Olive oil production is often carried out by small family-run farms, where attention to detail and respect for the land are paramount. Olive oil is also an integral part of the slow food movement, which emphasizes the importance of eating locally grown, high-quality, and sustainably produced foods. By supporting artisanal olive oil producers, consumers are not only supporting sustainable farming practices, but are also keeping a piece of history alive. Many small-scale olive oil producers focus on traditional, hands-on methods of oil extraction, using stone mills and cold pressing techniques to produce small batches of high-quality oil. These artisanal producers often cultivate rare, heirloom olive varieties, ensuring that the flavors and traditions of the past continue to be celebrated. In fact, the connection between olive oil and the slow food movement goes beyond simply enjoying good food. It's about honoring the earth, respecting tradition, and fostering a deeper connection to what we consume. The slow food movement encourages us to appreciate the story behind the food we eat, and in the case of olive oil, that story is one of culture, history, and sustainability. By choosing to purchase high-quality, sustainably produced olive oil, we are not just nourishing our bodies, we are preserving a centuries-old tradition and supporting the communities that continue to produce it. The future of olive oil seems bright, and it continues to enjoy growing popularity as people recognize its incredible versatility and health benefits. Whether it's being used in the kitchen, as a beauty treatment, or as a sustainable agricultural product, olive oil remains as relevant today as it was in ancient Greece. Its connection to the land, its cultural significance, and its ability to improve our health make it a truly timeless commodity. So, the next time you pour that golden liquid onto your food, remember that you're not just indulging in a delicious, healthy fat. You're connecting with a tradition that has lasted thousands of years, one that spans across civilizations, cultures, and generations. You're taking part in a story that began with the ancient Greeks, and you're honoring a product that has nourished bodies, soothed souls, and connected humanity to the earth for millennia. The Greeks, Romans, and even earlier civilizations valued olive oil not only for its practical uses, but also for its symbolic importance, and in many ways, that symbolism continues to resonate today. As international interest in healthy eating and sustainable living grows, so too does the appreciation for olive oil. From North America to Asia and beyond, olive oil is becoming an integral part of cooking and wellness practices. What began as a simple, locally produced product in ancient Greece has grown into a global commodity that has transcended time and geography. This widespread popularity, however, has also brought with it a new set of challenges. The increasing demand for olive oil has led to issues related to mass production and the potential for lower quality oils flooding the market. Olive oil's journey from a sacred and rare product to a widespread global industry means that we now face challenges in ensuring that the oil we consume is of the highest quality, and that it is produced in a sustainable and ethical manner. Unfortunately, this is a common practice in the industry, and it often leads to consumers unknowingly purchasing oils that are not truly olive oil at all. To combat this, organizations like the International Olive Council have been working to implement stricter standards and regulations to ensure that the olive oil you purchase is pure and of the highest quality. As consumers, we are increasingly encouraged to pay closer attention to labels, opting for extra virgin olive oil, which is produced using traditional, high-quality methods. It's a small but significant step toward preserving the authenticity of olive oil and maintaining its legacy. The role of artisanal olive oil production has also gained attention in recent years. Small family-owned olive farms are making a comeback as consumers seek out high-quality, sustainably produced oils. The result is an olive oil that is rich in flavor, texture, and history. As consumers increasingly choose to support these smaller, independent farms, they are also helping to preserve the age-old methods of olive oil production that have been passed down for generations. This return to artisanal methods also represents a larger cultural shift towards sustainability and mindful consumption. By choosing to buy olive oil from sustainable, small-scale farms, we not only ensure that we are getting a product of the highest quality, but we are also contributing to the preservation of a centuries-old way of life. Moreover, this shift towards sustainability in the olive oil industry echoes the values of ancient Greece. The Greeks, who revered the olive tree not just as a source of food, but as a sacred gift from the gods, recognized the importance of living in harmony with nature. The sustainability movement isn't just about ensuring that olive oil production remains environmentally responsible, it's also about preserving the cultural heritage that olive oil represents. By supporting traditional olive oil producers, we are helping to keep alive the stories, practices, and techniques that have been passed down for generations. Olive oil is a living history, one that is steeped in ancient wisdom and cultural pride. Olive oil has managed to thrive in a world of mass production and globalization, while still maintaining its ties to the past. It is a perfect example of how traditions can evolve and adapt while still preserving the core values that made them valuable in the first place. As we continue to embrace olive oil in our daily lives, we have the opportunity to ensure that its legacy remains as vibrant and essential as it has been for thousands of years. The beauty of olive oil lies not only in its rich history, but in its ability to connect us to something greater. It's a product that spans time, culture, and geography, offering us a direct link to the past while still serving as a vital part of our modern lives. The ancient Greeks, who consumed olive oil daily, would likely have appreciated the modern understanding of its health benefits, though they recognized it as a natural way to maintain health and vitality long before modern science confirmed its properties. The Mediterranean diet, which emphasizes plant-based foods, fish, and of course, olive oil, has become a model of healthy eating across the globe. In recent years, as concerns over processed foods and unhealthy fats have grown, olive oil has been championed, a healthier alternative to many other oils and fats. It has even been endorsed by leading health organizations, including the American Heart Association, which promotes olive oil as an essential part of a heart-healthy diet. For centuries, olive oil has been seen as a health elixir by Mediterranean cultures, and today, it is finally receiving the global recognition it deserves. While the health benefits of olive oil were well established in modern times, it's interesting to note how this health-conscious approach mirrors the ancient Greeks' understanding of balance. The Greeks viewed health as a holistic concept, one that involved caring for both the body and the mind. Olive oil, with its nourishing properties, was seen as a key to maintaining that balance. In fact, Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, recommended olive oil for a variety of health concerns. From soothing muscle aches to promoting digestion, olive oil was considered a powerful remedy for maintaining wellness. And just as it plays a central role in the Mediterranean diet today, it was central to Greek life thousands of years ago, serving as both a dietary staple and a tool for promoting physical health. But the role of olive oil in modern life is not limited to the kitchen or the health-conscious community. Olive oil has also become a symbol of sustainability, particularly in a world that is increasingly concerned with environmental issues. The olive tree is one of the most sustainable crops, requiring minimal water and being naturally resistant to pests. Olive oil production, particularly in small-scale, artisanal farms, often takes place in regions that prioritize organic farming practices and environmental stewardship. By supporting small-scale olive oil producers, consumers are not just investing in a high-quality product, they are also supporting environmentally friendly agricultural practices. Sustainability in olive oil production is a growing trend, especially as consumers become more aware of the environmental impact of their food choices. The importance of sourcing olive oil from reputable, sustainable producers cannot be overstated. Many small farms in regions like Tuscany, Andalusia, and Greece are committed to preserving traditional farming practices that prioritize the well-being of the land. These farms use organic methods to cultivate olives, avoiding harmful chemicals and fertilizers. In turn, this ensures that the olives and the oils derived from them are free from pesticides and other toxins. As part of the broader movement toward sustainability, consumers are encouraged to be more conscious of the origins of their olive oil. The growth of fair trade and certified organic olive oil has provided options for those who want to make more environmentally responsible choices. By purchasing olive oil from trusted sources, consumers not only help support sustainable agriculture, but they also help preserve the ancient practices that have been passed down for generations. This sustainable, artisanal approach to olive oil production is reminiscent of the ancient Greeks' respect for nature. The Greeks were deeply connected to the land, and they recognized the olive tree as a sacred gift. Their methods of olive cultivation were focused on respect for the earth, and that respect is something that is mirrored in modern sustainable farming practices. Just as the ancient Greeks carefully cultivated their olive groves and used every part of the tree, so do modern producers focus on cultivating olives with care, producing high-quality oils that honor both the product and the environment. It's fascinating to see how the ancient Greeks, who viewed olive oil as a gift from the gods, would have approved of this modern movement toward sustainability. They understood the importance of maintaining balance, both in their own lives and in their relationship with the environment. Today, as we look at the way olive oil is produced and consumed, we see that the respect the ancient Greeks had for the olive tree and its products continues to shape our modern understanding of food, health, and sustainability. As we wrap up our journey through the world of olive oil, it's clear that this ancient product, born of the land and revered by civilizations for millennia, continues to hold a special place in our lives. From its role in ancient Greek rituals to its place in modern kitchens and wellness practices, olive oil has transcended time, cultures, and generations. It remains a product that nourishes the body, sustains the soul, and connects us to our history, our health, and our environment. Every time we pour olive oil onto our dishes, use it in our beauty routines, or simply savor its taste, we are honoring a tradition that has spanned thousands of years. The Greeks may have been the first to elevate olive oil to sacred status, but today, we all partake in its rich legacy, one that continues to evolve and thrive. So the next time you drizzle a little olive oil on your meal or massage it into your skin, take a moment to remember the long, storied history of this simple, yet extraordinary, liquid. As we move into the final chapters of our exploration into the legacy of olive oil, let's reflect on the way this simple substance connects the past with the present, while also shaping the future. From ancient Greece to the modern-day Mediterranean diet, olive oil has endured as not just a product, but a cultural icon, something deeply tied to human tradition, health, and the way we relate to nature. But what does the future of olive oil look like? Will it continue to play the same central role it has for thousands of years, or will modern technologies and shifts in global consumption lead us to redefine its place in our lives? The answer to this question lies in our growing global awareness of health and sustainability. As the world becomes more health-conscious, the demand for nutritious, natural products has surged. Olive oil, with its exceptional health benefits, has found its place as a key component of this modern trend. Whether it's in the form of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil or in artisanal small-batch oils, consumers are becoming more discerning, choosing products that are not only good for them but also sustainably sourced. This aligns perfectly with the ancient Greek ethos of balance, a belief that our consumption of food, resources, and even beauty products should harmonize with the environment, culture, and our bodies. But the future of olive oil isn't just about health, it's also about the continued celebration of tradition. Despite the rise of mass-produced oils, there has been a significant return to small-scale, artisanal production. These farms are not only focused on quality, but also on preserving the practices that have defined olive oil cultivation for centuries. These producers often embrace organic farming methods and traditional, time-honored methods of oil extraction, ensuring that the olive oil we consume today is as pure and rich in flavor as it was for the Greeks. This resurgence of interest in artisanal, locally produced olive oil speaks to a broader desire to reconnect with the land, to celebrate authenticity, and to support the small-scale producers who keep ancient agricultural practices alive. Much like the Greeks, who understood that living in harmony with the land required care and attention, modern consumers are beginning to embrace this philosophy. Sustainable farming practices are gaining traction in the olive oil industry, with an increasing number of farms switching to eco-friendly techniques. These practices involve everything from ensuring that olive trees are grown without the use of harmful pesticides to reducing water consumption in olive groves. Such sustainable farming not only preserves the land for future generations, but also keeps alive the traditions of the past, traditions that were founded on a respect for nature and the belief that our relationship with the earth should be one of balance and respect. Olive oil's role in supporting small-scale farming and sustainable agriculture is particularly significant in the Mediterranean, where it continues to be the backbone of rural economies. In countries like Greece, Italy, and Spain, olive oil production supports local communities, providing jobs for thousands of people, from farmers to artisans. By buying olive oil that is sourced from these small-scale producers, consumers are investing in both their health and the preservation of cultural heritage. It's a beautiful circle, one that ties our modern lives to ancient traditions, helping us maintain a connection to the past while supporting the future. As the olive oil industry continues to evolve, the push for transparency and quality has become more pronounced. With the rise of consumer awareness, people are more inclined to seek out certified organic, fair trade, and single-origin olive oils. Many producers now provide detailed information about where and how their olives are grown, and the methods used to extract the oil. This transparency not only allows consumers to make informed decisions, but also fosters trust in the industry. It's a reminder that olive oil, which has been prized for thousands of years, continues to be a product of integrity and craftsmanship, a product worthy of our attention and appreciation. But olive oil's future isn't just about protecting tradition, it's also about embracing innovation. While small-scale, organic production remains at the heart of many artisanal olive oil farms, there is also a growing interest in modernizing the olive oil industry through technology. New innovations in olive oil extraction, such as cold pressing and centrifugation methods, allow for oils that preserve more of the natural flavors and nutrients. These advancements not only improve the quality of the oil, but also make the production process more efficient, reducing waste and energy consumption. In many ways, the blending of traditional practices with modern technology reflects the harmony that the ancient Greeks believed was essential to life itself. The future of olive oil will also likely see continued growth in its use beyond the kitchen. Olive oil's popularity as an ingredient in beauty products, such as face creams, shampoos, and soaps, is not just a passing trend, it's part of a larger movement toward natural skincare. Consumers are turning away from synthetic ingredients and opting for products that are more natural and nourishing. Olive oil, with its rich antioxidant content and soothing properties, fits perfectly into this trend. Its moisturizing and anti-aging effects have made it a go-to ingredient for skincare brands around the world, and this trend shows no signs of slowing down. Olive oil is also making its mark in the world of wellness, with more people recognizing its healing properties. In addition to its cardiovascular benefits, olive oil has been found to aid in digestive health, reduce inflammation, and even improve cognitive function. The connection between olive oil and mental health is particularly exciting, as recent studies have shown that olive oil may help protect the brain from diseases like Alzheimer's. As research into the health benefits of olive oil continues to grow, it's likely that the global understanding of its medicinal qualities will only increase, further cementing its place in modern wellness. In many ways, the future of olive oil, the continuation of its past. It's a product that has stood the test of time, adapting to changes in society, culture, and technology while maintaining the same essence that made it so beloved by the ancient Greeks. Whether it's used for its health benefits, its culinary versatility, or its symbolic connection to nature, olive oil remains as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago. As we look to the future, we can take comfort in knowing that the legacy of olive oil will continue to thrive. It will continue to nourish us, connect us to the earth, and provide a link to the past. And as we pour it onto our food, rub it into our skin, or use it in our wellness routines, we are participating in a timeless tradition that began in the ancient groves of Greece and has made its way into the hearts and homes of people all over the world. As we continue to explore the enduring legacy of olive oil, we should take a moment to reflect on how deeply ingrained this ancient product is in the daily lives of millions around the world. While its historical roots run deep in Mediterranean soil, olive oil has transcended both time and geography, becoming a symbol of health, sustainability, and even luxury across the globe. The modern-day appreciation for olive oil is not just a passing trend. It is a direct link to the wisdom of ancient civilizations, whose understanding of balance and nourishment continues to shape the way we live today. In our increasingly fast-paced and convenience-driven world, many people are beginning to turn back to the basics of food and wellness. As processed foods and artificial ingredients have become more prevalent, there is a growing desire to reconnect with nature and rediscover the pure, natural foods that sustained our ancestors. Olive oil fits seamlessly into this movement. With its rich history, nutritional benefits, and versatility in both food and beauty products, olive oil is the embodiment of this return to simplicity, offering an antidote to the synthetic, mass-produced alternatives that dominate much of the modern marketplace. It's not just in the kitchen where we see the lasting influence of olive oil. It has also firmly established itself as a centerpiece in the wellness industry. The oil's naturally rich antioxidants, anti-inflammatory properties, and high levels of monounsaturated fats have made it a key player in modern health practices. Whether consumed as part of a daily diet or applied topically in beauty treatments, olive oil is now seen as an essential tool for maintaining overall well-being. In fact, studies have shown that olive oil can help reduce the risk of chronic diseases like heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes, offering a powerful weapon in the fight for longevity and health. The connection between olive oil and wellness is particularly relevant in the context of the modern world, where many of us are seeking ways to reduce stress and find balance amidst the chaos of daily life. Olive oil has long been used as a remedy for soothing the body and mind, and it's easy to see why it has found its place in contemporary self-care routines. The ancient Greeks used olive oil to cleanse and rejuvenate, and today, we continue to use it in much the same way. Olive oil's deep moisturizing properties make it a perfect natural remedy for dry skin, and its gentle consistency is a soothing balm for the body. When massaged into the skin or hair, olive oil acts as a hydrating agent, improving texture and maintaining moisture, much like it did for the athletes and philosophers of ancient Greece. In the world of beauty, olive oil has experienced a resurgence in recent years. As consumers become more conscious about what they put on their skin, natural and organic ingredients are in high demand. Olive oil is now a key ingredient in a wide variety of beauty products, from soaps and shampoos to moisturizers and anti-aging treatments. The high vitamin E content in olive oil helps protect the skin from damage and supports the skin's natural barrier. It's a testament to the enduring appeal of olive oil, which continues to be prized not only for its culinary benefits, but also for its ability to enhance beauty and maintain youthful skin. One of the most remarkable aspects of olive oil's continued success is its ability to remain relevant and timeless. Despite the rapid pace of technological and cultural change, olive oil has been cherished for thousands of years, yet it still finds its place in our daily routines, from the most basic of meals to the most luxurious skincare regimens. This is a product that has transcended its origins and remains universally valued by cultures worldwide. Whether used in fine dining restaurants or humble home kitchens, olive oil continues to be celebrated for its versatility, flavor, and nutritional value. Interestingly, olive oil's future may also lie in its growing role in sustainable food production. As the world becomes more focused on reducing its environmental impact, olive oil production offers a sustainable alternative to many other forms of agriculture. Olive trees require minimal water and are naturally resistant to pests, making them a more eco-friendly crop compared to other oils such as palm or soybean. Additionally, olive trees are long-lived, producing fruit for decades, sometimes even centuries. This makes olive oil a sustainable crop that helps preserve biodiversity and soil health, further connecting it to the ancient Greek ideals of living in harmony with nature. As we look ahead, the future of olive oil production seems intertwined with the future of sustainable food practices. Small-scale, artisanal producers are becoming increasingly popular, offering high-quality, organic, and sustainably sourced olive oils that are not only good for our health, but also good for the environment. Consumers are more likely than ever to seek out these products, knowing that they are supporting eco-friendly farming practices while also enjoying a product that is rooted in centuries of tradition. Perhaps one of the most significant aspects of the future of olive oil is its continued role as a cultural connector. Just as olive oil served as a bridge between the ancient Greeks and their gods, so too does it continue to bring people together today. In the modern world, olive oil is often seen as an essential part of cultural identity, particularly in Mediterranean countries where it is an integral part of national cuisine and everyday life. But it also crosses borders, uniting people from all walks of life in a shared appreciation of its flavor, health benefits, and cultural significance. As more people turn to the Mediterranean diet, olive oil becomes a key ingredient in connecting us to the cultures of the past. We continue to honor the ancient Greek tradition of eating in harmony with nature, choosing foods that nourish both body and soul. Olive oil plays a crucial role in this dietary tradition, reminding us that some of the simplest foods are also the most enduring. Just as the ancient Greeks celebrated the olive tree as a symbol of peace and prosperity, so too can we celebrate it as a symbol of good health, sustainability, and cultural heritage. As we finish our journey through the world of olive oil, we see that its importance hasn't diminished over time, it has only grown. What started as a humble product of the ancient Mediterranean has now spread to every corner of the globe, serving as a testament to the timeless appeal of simple, natural ingredients. Olive oil continues to nourish, heal, and connect us in ways both tangible and profound. Its legacy, firmly rooted in the earth and history, will undoubtedly continue to influence future generations, reminding us that some traditions are meant to be carried forward, not just for their practical value, but for their ability to connect us to something greater. As we continue to reflect on the evolution and ongoing significance of olive oil, it's important to take a deeper look at its broader role in global food culture today. From ancient Greece to the modern world, olive oil has continually been at the center of a global movement that prioritizes not just the food we eat, but how it connects us to our history, our environment, and even to each other. In this way, olive oil has transcended being a mere culinary ingredient. It has become a symbol of a lifestyle, one that values sustainability, health, and tradition. The global interest in olive oil has only continued to grow, particularly in countries outside the Mediterranean. In recent years, as health and wellness trends have surged in popularity, so too has olive oil, which is celebrated not only for its flavor, but also for its unmatched health benefits. It is now considered one of the cornerstones of healthy eating. The rise of the superfood trend has brought olive oil into the spotlight as a natural fat that supports a balanced, nutrient-rich diet. With its heart-healthy monounsaturated fats and antioxidant-rich profile, olive oil has become a key player in many of the most prominent diet plans, whether it's the Mediterranean diet, the DASH diet, or the anti-inflammatory diet. What's interesting about the widespread appreciation of olive oil is that it's not just about health, it's about embracing a more mindful and holistic approach to living. Olive oil embodies a lifestyle that encourages sustainability, respect for the environment, and a return to natural, wholesome food. As people move away from processed foods and artificial ingredients, they increasingly turn to olive oil, the pure and unrefined option, something that is as close to its natural form as possible. This return to simplicity mirrors the ancient Greek understanding that the best things in life are often the simplest. Olive oil, with its minimal processing and rich natural properties, is the perfect embodiment of this principle. In this modern context, the appeal of olive oil also lies in its versatility. While its historical significance was primarily tied to food and ritual, today it has expanded into a range of different industries. Olive oil is used in everything from gourmet cooking and beauty products to natural cleaning solutions and even supplements. It has also found a place in the world of wellness, where it is recognized for its ability to reduce inflammation, support brain health, and boost longevity. The popularity of olive oil, a testament to its enduring power to adapt, expand, and remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. At the same time, the modern olive oil industry is experiencing significant changes. As the demand for high-quality olive oil continues to rise, there has been a growing push toward transparency, traceability, and authenticity in the market. Consumers today are more knowledgeable than ever, with many seeking out extra virgin olive oil, which is considered the highest quality and the least processed. The rise of certifications, such as organic or fair trade labels, reflects a growing desire among consumers to ensure that the products they buy not only meet high standards of quality, but also adhere to ethical and environmental practices. This increased demand for high-quality olive oil has, in many ways, led to a return to traditional methods of production. The small-scale, artisanal producers who are dedicated to preserving the traditional methods of olive oil production are becoming more celebrated and sought after. Cold pressing and stone milling, the methods once used by the Greeks and Romans to extract oil from olives, are being embraced once more. These techniques allow olive oil to retain its natural flavors and nutritional properties, creating an oil that is both delicious and packed with health benefits. This emphasis on high quality, sustainably produced olive oil has important implications for the environment as well. Olive oil production is an inherently sustainable practice. Olive trees are drought-resistant and require relatively little water compared to many other crops. They also thrive in rocky, dry soils that are unsuitable for other forms of agriculture, making them an excellent choice for preserving valuable land in regions where farming might otherwise be difficult. Furthermore, many small-scale olive oil producers prioritize organic farming methods, further reducing the environmental impact of their operations. One of the most exciting trends in the olive oil industry today is the growing awareness around the environmental and social benefits of supporting small, local producers. As people become more conscious of their purchasing decisions, many are choosing to buy olive oil from farms that prioritize sustainability, organic practices, and fair treatment of workers. This supports not only the environment, but also the local economies of olive-growing regions, which depend on olive oil production as a major source of income. By supporting these farmers, consumers are helping to preserve the ancient art of olive oil production and ensure that it continues for generations to come. In addition to sustainability, there is also a focus on innovation in the olive oil industry. New methods of oil extraction, better storage techniques, and even advances in packaging are all part of the industry's efforts to preserve the quality of olive oil and reduce waste. These innovations ensure that olive oil continues to evolve with the times while maintaining its integrity. For example, Some producers are using state-of-the-art equipment to extract oil at lower temperatures, preserving more of the antioxidants and vitamins that make olive oil so beneficial to health. Additionally, advances in packaging, such as dark glass bottles and eco-friendly materials, help protect olive oil from light and air exposure, preserving its quality for longer periods. As we consider the future of olive oil, it's clear that the product has come full circle, from a sacred offering to the gods in ancient Greece to a revered, globally consumed product. Olive oil has traveled across continents, enduring countless cultural shifts and technological changes, but it has always maintained its status as a symbol of health, wellness, and sustainability. The fact that it continues to thrive in the modern world is a testament to its timeless qualities and its ability to adapt to the needs of each generation. But beyond all the health benefits, environmental advantages, and culinary versatility, olive oil's true significance lies in the deep connection it creates between us and the land. Just as the ancient Greeks revered the olive tree for its ability to provide nourishment, protection, and beauty, we continue to honor the olive tree for the same reasons today. Each bottle of olive oil we pour a continuation of a tradition that has been passed down for thousands of years. It connects us to the past, to the land, and to one another in a way that few other products can. So, as you reach for your bottle of olive oil in your kitchen, whether to drizzle it on a fresh salad or to rub it into your skin, take a moment to appreciate the centuries of history that have shaped this simple, extraordinary product. It's not just an ingredient, it's a symbol of balance, health, and sustainability, and it will continue to nourish us, connect us, and remind us of the wisdom of ancient traditions for years to come. As we reach the final stages of our exploration of olive oil, it's time to reflect on the broader cultural and societal significance that this timeless product carries into the modern world. The journey of olive oil, from its sacred roots in ancient Greece to its central role in contemporary health and wellness trends, speaks to its adaptability and universal appeal. Today, it stands as a symbol of both the past and the future, a bridge between generations and cultures, continuously evolving while staying deeply grounded in its rich heritage. In ancient Greece, olive oil was more than just a food product, it was a symbol of divine favor, prosperity, and cultural identity. The Greeks didn't just consume it, they revered it. Olive oil played a central role in their diet, their health practices, their religious rituals, and their philosophy of living in harmony with nature. This reverence didn't stop with the Greeks. It was passed down through the Romans, the Byzantines, and eventually became a key ingredient in many cultures around the world. Even today, the legacy of olive oil remains alive and vibrant, its benefits not only culinary, but also health-related, and its cultural significance as strong as ever. The modern world, however, has reshaped our understanding of olive oil and its role in our lives. While olive oil was once a prized possession for the wealthy, available only to the upper classes in the ancient Mediterranean world, it is now a ubiquitous household item, available to anyone. Yet, this shift in accessibility has not diminished its symbolic value. In fact, the opposite has occurred. As more people embrace its health benefits and cultural importance, olive oil has become an emblem of wholesome living, sustainability, and ethical consumption. Its widespread popularity is a reflection of the broader societal movement toward healthier, more conscious eating, and a deeper connection to natural products. Today, one of the most remarkable developments in the olive oil industry is the focus on sustainability and ethical farming practices. Olive oil production, particularly in small, family-owned farms, has become a symbol of a sustainable and eco-conscious way of living. Olive trees are one of the most sustainable crops, requiring minimal water, growing in arid soils, and thriving without the need for chemical pesticides. This makes olive oil not only a product that is good for our health, but also for the environment. By supporting small-scale, organic, and fair-trade olive oil producers, consumers are participating in a movement that prioritizes sustainability, environmental responsibility, and ethical farming practices. What's truly remarkable about olive oil in the modern context is how it has bridged the gap between tradition and innovation. While ancient techniques like cold pressing and stone milling are still used by artisanal producers to create the finest oils, modern technology has allowed for greater efficiency in production and preservation. Advances in olive oil extraction methods, such as the use of centrifugation, have enabled producers to extract oil with higher yield and less waste, while innovations in packaging ensure that the oil stays fresh and retains its nutritional properties longer. These developments are proof that while olive oil continues to honor its ancient roots, it is also capable of adapting to the needs of the contemporary world. One of the reasons why olive oil continues to be so cherished across the globe is its ability to bring people together. Whether it's in a Mediterranean kitchen where family members gather around the table for a meal, or at a modern, health-conscious dinner party, olive oil serves as a unifying force. It is a staple that connects generations, bringing a sense of tradition into the present. Olive oil doesn't just nourish the body, it nourishes the soul. It's a product that speaks to our shared humanity, offering both sustenance and comfort, regardless of where we come from. Olive oil's role as a connector in just about food. Its uses extend far beyond the kitchen. In beauty and wellness, it is the go-to natural remedy for everything from moisturizing the skin to promoting hair health. Olive oil-based beauty products are celebrated for their purity, gentleness, and effectiveness. They are a reminder that the most natural solutions are often the best. Olive oil's versatility in both culinary and personal care routines demonstrates its ability to meet the diverse needs of modern consumers, all while maintaining a connection to its ancient, revered origins. As we continue to live in a world that increasingly prioritizes health, sustainability, and mindfulness, olive oil stands a shining example of how ancient wisdom can guide modern practices. The Greeks, who so carefully and reverently cultivated their olive trees, would no doubt be pleased to see how their beloved olive oil continues to thrive in the modern world, not just as a food product, but as a symbol of balance and well-being. For them, the olive tree was a gift from the gods, and olive oil was a sacred substance. In many ways, it still is. Looking ahead, the future of olive oil seems just as bright. Its health benefits continue to be explored, and as research on its anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and heart-healthy properties advances, olive oil's importance in global health will only increase. Furthermore, as the world grapples with issues of sustainability, the role of olive oil in eco-friendly, small-scale farming practices will continue to be crucial. By embracing both its ancient traditions and modern innovations, olive oil will continue to evolve, always with an eye toward preserving the balance between nature and humanity. At its core, olive oil is about more than just nourishment, it's about connection. It connects us to our past, to our health, and to the people we share meals with. It reminds us of the values of simplicity, sustainability, and harmony. And it's a product that, despite its age, still has so much to offer the world. As we pour it on our food, use it in our beauty routines, or incorporate it into our health-conscious lifestyles, we are honoring a tradition that has survived for millennia and continues to enrich our lives in countless ways. In the end, olive oil is more than just an ingredient. It's a legacy, a bridge between the past and the future, and a symbol of balance, health, and connection. Whether we use it to cook, heal, or simply enjoy, it reminds us of the enduring wisdom of ancient cultures and the timeless value of living in harmony with the world around us. As we reflect on the timeless legacy of olive oil and its place in our modern world, it becomes clear that this humble substance continues to resonate deeply with us. Far beyond its practical uses in cooking and health, olive oil is more than just a product. It's a part of our cultural fabric, a symbol of wisdom, sustainability, and the enduring connection between nature and human society. Its rich history, from the sacred groves of ancient Greece to the global marketplace of today, shows us that while civilizations may come and go, the things that truly nourish us, whether physically, mentally, or spiritually, are the things that endure. When we consider olive oil's role in modern kitchens, health practices, and beauty routines, we realize that it's a constant thread connecting us not only to the Mediterranean diet, but to the broader human experience. The ancient Greeks knew that food was more than just sustenance. It was an opportunity for connection, ritual, and balance. They used olive oil not just to nourish the body, but to honor the gods, to heal, and to preserve beauty. These values, which were as central to their society as the olive tree itself, continue to influence the way we view food and wellness today. One of the key elements that have kept olive oil relevant throughout the centuries is its remarkable versatility. Whether it's used in simple, rustic dishes like a fresh Mediterranean salad or elevated in gourmet cooking, olive oil's subtle but distinct flavor enhances every meal. It adds richness and depth to dishes, from frying to drizzling, from marinades to dressings. The same oil that nourished athletes before the Olympic Games in ancient Greece is now drizzled over pizza, stirred into pasta, and served alongside a hearty piece of bread at family dinners around the world. It is an essential, adaptable ingredient that fits seamlessly into various culinary traditions, transcending cultures and time periods. At the same time, olive oil's health benefits have kept it in the spotlight, particularly as the world grows more conscious of diet and wellness. Its high content of monounsaturated fats, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory properties make it an essential part of any heart-healthy, anti-aging, or weight-conscious diet. The health benefits of olive oil, now backed by extensive scientific research, confirming what ancient civilizations already knew. It's not just good for the taste buds, it's good for the body too. It helps lower cholesterol, reduce inflammation, and even combat oxidative stress. As the world continues to move toward more natural, plant-based diets, olive oil's place at the table will only become more solidified. It's not just the culinary world that continues to embrace olive oil, though. In modern beauty and skincare, olive oil has become a go-to product for its natural moisturizing and healing properties. While the ancient Greeks used it to smooth their skin and protect their hair, today it is just as relevant. Olive oil-based soaps, lotions, and serums are sold around the world, celebrated for their ability to hydrate, nourish, and rejuvenate. As people move away from synthetic beauty products and embrace more natural alternatives, olive oil's position as the cornerstone of personal care continues to grow. But beyond the personal benefits it offers, olive oil's cultural role as a symbol of wellness, beauty, and community continues to endure. It remains a symbol of Mediterranean hospitality, often offered to guests as a sign of warmth and care. The Greeks, and many Mediterranean cultures, understood that food isn't just about nourishment, it's about sharing, community, and connection. Olive oil continues to play this role today, as meals are prepared and shared, both within families and across cultures. Just as the ancient Greeks would gather around their olive oil-filled tables to break bread, so do we continue this practice, bonding over food that connects us to each other and the land. The environmental sustainability of olive oil production also makes it a product that resonates with today's growing concern over climate change and environmental degradation. The cultivation of olive trees is inherently more sustainable than many other forms of agriculture. Olive trees require less water, and their cultivation doesn't demand heavy use of pesticides or synthetic fertilizers. This makes olive oil a more eco-friendly choice compared to many other oils or fats. In a world where the environmental impact of our choices is more important than ever, olive oil stands as a beacon of sustainability, showing us that it is possible to produce high-quality, nutritious food without compromising the planet's health. The future of olive oil is bright and full of potential. As the world continues to embrace more sustainable, healthy, and natural ways of living, the role of olive oil will only continue to expand. The artisanal production of olive oil is seeing a resurgence, as consumers seek out small-scale producers who prioritize quality and authenticity. The growth of organic farming and fair trade certification has also ensured that more people have access to ethically sourced, high-quality olive oil. By supporting these producers, consumers can help preserve ancient traditions while contributing to a sustainable future. In fact, the olive oil industry's future be one of the most exciting developments. We can expect to see further innovation in how olive oil is produced and consumed, from advancements in extraction techniques to new ways of incorporating it into health and beauty products. As demand for high-quality, organic olive oil grows, we will likely see more partnerships between sustainable producers and health-conscious consumers. The potential for olive oil to drive positive environmental and social change is immense, and it's an industry that seems poised to flourish for many years to come. But for all the modern innovations, we must not forget that the roots of olive oil go deep into the history of human civilization. Its enduring appeal lies not only in its taste and benefits, but also in its profound connection to human culture. Olive oil is more than just an ingredient. It's a symbol of our relationship with nature, a marker of cultural identity, and a testament to the wisdom of ancient practices that continue to guide us today. Whether used in the simplest meals or the most luxurious skincare routines, olive oil remains a product that transcends time, offering nourishment for both the body and the soul. As we pour olive oil into our dishes, smooth it into our skin, and enjoy its many benefits, we are continuing a tradition that has lasted for millennia. We honor the ancient Greeks, Romans, and countless other civilizations who revered olive oil for its ability to sustain life, promote health, and foster connection. The legacy of olive oil is not only alive, it is thriving, and it will continue to nourish, heal, and connect us for generations to come. As we conclude our journey through the multifaceted history and future of olive oil, it's clear that this extraordinary substance continues to play a vital role in shaping both our past and present. Olive oil, a symbol of nourishment, health, sustainability, and tradition, holds a unique position in the global food and wellness industries today. What started as a sacred gift from the gods in ancient Greece has evolved into a staple in kitchens around the world and a key ingredient in modern wellness practices. Its timeless appeal lies not only in its practicality and versatility, but also in the rich cultural significance it carries with it. Olive oil's evolution from a symbol of divine favor in the ancient world to a contemporary superfood is a testament to its enduring relevance. In ancient Greece, it was used for everything from food preparation to skincare, from athletic performance to religious rituals. It was seen as a gift from Athena, a symbol of peace and prosperity. The ancient Greeks understood that olive oil was more than just a resource, it was a connection to the divine and the natural world. In many ways, the Greeks' reverence for olive oil reflected their broader philosophical outlook on life, a life in balance, with a respect for nature, health, and the gods. Today, we are still benefiting from the Greek reverence for olive oil. Its health benefits are well documented, with olive oil playing a central role in the Mediterranean diet, known for its heart-healthy properties, anti-inflammatory effects, and antioxidant-rich profile. Modern research has confirmed what the ancient Greeks intuitively understood. Olive oil is not just food for the body, but also food for the soul. It provides nourishment, promotes health, and fosters well-being, aligning with the holistic approach to health that the Greeks championed. In addition to its physical health benefits, olive oil's versatility continues to make it an indispensable part of daily life. Whether in the kitchen, the beauty routine, or the wellness practice, olive oil has adapted to our modern needs while maintaining its connection to the traditions of the past. Its use in everything from cooking and baking to skincare and hair care, proving that its uses extend far beyond what the Greeks could have imagined. Olive oil has become more than just an ingredient, it's a lifestyle. The global movement towards sustainability and ethical consumption is also an important part of olive oil's continued success. As more consumers become aware of the environmental impact of their purchasing decisions, they are increasingly turning to sustainably produced olive oil. Olive oil's ability to thrive in arid, rocky soils and its relatively low water usage make it a more sustainable crop than many others. Furthermore, small-scale, family-owned farms are becoming more prominent as consumers seek to support local, organic, and fair trade producers. This trend reflects a growing desire to reconnect with nature and preserve the traditional, sustainable practices that have been passed down through generations of olive growers. In the future, olive oil's role in sustainability will likely continue to expand. As more people seek out eco-friendly products, olive oil stands as a beacon of sustainable agriculture. The demand for high-quality, organic olive oil will likely increase as more consumers become conscious of where their food comes from and how it is produced. The rise of certifications like organic and fair trade will help ensure that olive oil production continues to align with the values of sustainability, fairness, and environmental stewardship. Moreover, the future of olive oil holds exciting potential for innovation. As the world continues to embrace technology and modern advancements, the olive oil industry will likely continue to evolve. New extraction methods, better preservation techniques, and innovations in packaging will help ensure that olive oil remains as fresh and flavorful as possible. These advancements will allow olive oil to remain an essential, high-quality product while minimizing waste and maximizing efficiency. The combination of traditional methods and modern innovations will keep olive oil at the forefront of the food and wellness industries. One of the most heartening aspects of olive oil's future is its continued cultural significance. Olive oil is more than just a product, it's a symbol of human connection. It brings people together around tables, uniting families and communities through the simple act of sharing food. In a world where many of us feel increasingly disconnected, olive oil serves as a reminder that food is not just about sustenance, it's about creating bonds, traditions, and memories. Whether it's the joy of preparing a meal with loved ones or the comfort of a meal shared with friends, olive oil continues to play a central role in fostering connection and unity. As we look to the future, olive oil will likely continue to be an integral part of the way we eat, live, and care for ourselves. Its health benefits, sustainability, and cultural significance ensure that it will remain a cornerstone of diets, wellness practices, and culinary traditions around the world. From its humble origins as a gift from the gods to its status as a global superfood, olive oil has proven that it is more than just an ingredient. It is a symbol of life, health, and harmony. The future of olive oil is one of promise and potential. Its enduring appeal is a reflection of the timeless human desire for nourishment, connection, and balance. Whether it's used to cook a simple meal, improve health, or enhance beauty, olive oil continues to provide us with the same essential benefits that it has for thousands of years. It is a product that connects us to our past while nourishing our present and guiding us into the future. The legacy of olive oil is far from over, and it will continue to be a source of nourishment, health, and connection for generations to come. As you drizzle it over your food, apply it to your skin, or simply enjoy its many benefits, remember that olive oil is not just an ingredient, it's a living history, a testament to the wisdom of ancient cultures, and a symbol of the values that continue to guide us today. The story of olive oil is one that continues to unfold, and you are a part of it, carrying this ancient tradition forward with every use. Good night.